Introduction of invasive species Rhinella marina, commonly known as the cane toad, to the Australian ecosystem has had a litany of negative impacts on the biodiversity of flora and fauna across the country. From their initial introduction into Queensland in 1935, in an unsuccessful effort to control beetles in the sugarcane production, the population has exploded exponentially from the initial 101 specimens to an estimated 20 million and now cover approximately 20% of Australia's landmass. As an introduced species, cane toads have no natural predators and are not subject to native pathogens as they have no clear evolutionary history. Their successful adaptation to the novel environment in a short time has impacted the environment substantially. Why have they done so well? It's because they're master adapters. Toads at the invasion front have evolved to move faster and more efficiently. They display longer back legs, larger parotoid glands, and are generally larger and can follow a straighter path. They've also managed to adapt to climates outside of their niche tropical habitat, and some toads have been found to survive in temperatures as low as 5.5 degrees. The population explosion is compounded by the fact that cane toads are also prolific breeders. Females can lay between 8 and 30,000 eggs at a time. As they expand further and further, cane toads negatively affect the native species in two ways. Firstly, poisoning by lethal toxic injection, and secondly, by making changes to the environment by disrupting predator-prey relationships. Our top order predators have no historical exposure to bufanoid toxins, and they die after ingesting or mouthing cane toads. The animals most at risk are lizards, blue-tongued skinks, freshwater crocodiles, and the northern quoll, which came to localised extinction in Kakadu National Park in 2002. They impact the biodiversity of fauna and flora because they are prolific feeders. They feed indiscriminately and opportunistically, and they eat a range of native invertebrate and insects, sometimes up to 200 per night. This includes bees, ants, termites, beetles, and small native frogs, plus anything that fits in their mouth, including birds' eggs, snakes, lizards, and small mammals. This affects native species greatly by reducing populations in significant numbers, and also threatens native species through competition for food. So why should you care? Even if you don't live in an inhabited area now, you soon might. It's predicted that toads may eventually permanently inhabit areas as far south as Port Macquarie in New South Wales and Broome in Western Australia, with temperature range analysis showing cane toads could overwinter as far south as Bega near the Victorian border. This means a greater threat to biodiversity in more habitats and a lethal threat to domestic animals. So what's being done? Alongside government policy, Dr. Rick Shrine of the Shrine Institute, in conjunction with Cane Toads in Oz, University of Sydney and the University in Queensland, are looking at ways to mitigate the expansion. Some of the methods they're looking at is conditioned taste aversion, the effect of chemical cues on cane toad larvae and embryos, genetically modifying male toads to only produce male offspring, and the development of tadpole traps. There are things that we can all do to stop the spread. Remove toad temptations in and around your property, remove pet food bowls at night, and remove any still water sources and debris, as they provide water and shelter for toads. Join community organisations such as Kimberley Toadbusters, Frogwatch or Landcare, and learn how to identify toads from native frog species and their eggs for correct specimen removal. But most importantly, when travelling between inhabited and non-inhabited areas, always check for hitchhiker toads.